Hi guys, I'm back. It's been a little bit of time, I think like a week or two since we read one of our chapters. So I had a couple minutes at work and I'm going to read to you guys. I think I can pull my mask down because I'm in a room by myself. So we are on chapter 22 of our book, The Art, the Read, the Fire Cloud, and the Fire Cloud with Max and Liz. And I guess I'll just start reading. It's called Adam's Journal. Oh, so we're back in a chapter with Noah and his family. We're not in a chapter with the animals at this time. So this is a little short chapter of the family. Okay, Adam's Journal. Noah knelt down next to Lamech and softly whispered in his ear, "Father, I have brought my sons as you requested." Lamech's eyes struggled to open and he smiled. He reached out a weak hand and Ham, Shem, and Japheth approached the dying man. "Grandfather, you should come see what father is building," Shem said, taking the old man's fragile hand into his own. He held it for a moment, gently squeezing it and willing the dear man to hang on. Lamech returned the hand squeeze and smiled. "I've heard. Shouldn't it be completed by now?" The men laughed, sharing knowing glances with each other. If only their grandfather knew. "We could carry you there if you'd like to see it," Ham suggested. "There is not time." "Japheth, did you bring the cart?" Lamech asked. Japheth took a step forward in response. "Yes, grandfather." "Shem, take the torch. Find the niche in the cave wall," Lamech instructed, coughing. Lamech is very sick. Shem hesitated at hearing his grandfather cough, but obeyed and crossed to the opposite side of the cave to where Lamech's gaze fell, searching. "It is hidden," Lamech instructed, "behind that sharp rock, the one that is eye level." Ham and Japheth joined Shem in search while Noah and Lamech shared a final moment. "Protect them," Lamech said, closing his eyes and opening them again. "What is it, Father?" Noah asked, his face full of grief for his ailing father. "It is his story," Lamech said as he squeezed Noah's arm. "Protect them." "Here it is. Bring the torch, Shem," Ham said. The three brothers looked around the jutting rock to find a small, deeply hidden hole. Shem held the torch over the hole to reveal many slabs of clay stacked inside. Ham reached in and struggled to pull out a heavy tablet. Dust and dirt from the cave showed decades of settling, and Ham tried his best to brush it away. "What does it say?" Japheth asked, trying to see the tablet in the dim light. Ham finally cleared away the thick coating that covered the symbols, pictures, and other various markings. "These are the generations of Noah." "What is it? What is this?" asked Shem. The three sons turned to question their father and saw Noah pull the cover over Lamech's head. That means he passed away. Noah laid his own head on the chest of his deceased father and wept. So Noah's dad finally passed away. Okay, this is chapter 23, questions with answers and answers with questions. We're back to the animals. The group of animals and birds made their way through the green meadows of France. Liz set the pace, wanting them to make good time, but trying not to tire Henriette and Jacques, who weren't equipped for long-distance walking. Kate looked up at Rudy and Rosie, amazed at how fast their little wings flapped. Their wings seemed to disappear while in flight. Their tiny bodies zipped along carefree above the meadow where the animals walked. "Liz, how is it that Rudy and Rosie can fly so fast?" Kate asked Liz, grinning up at the two small birds. "Energy. The maker supplied hummingbirds with an extraordinary ability to use energy," replied Liz, glancing briefly up at Rudy and Rosie while maintaining her steady walking pace. "Where does energy come from?" asked Kate. Well, the sun gives most of the energy to the earth, and it exists in everything you see. If there were no energy, nothing would exist. The sun would not shine, the winds would not blow, the rivers would not run, Liz explained as she looked at the animals around her. And the birds and animals would not fly, walk, or run. Jacques would not crow, Henriette would not scream, Max would not trot, and Albert would not jump. Kate picked up her pace to walk right next to Liz. She was fascinated by what the intelligent cat was explaining, and she wanted to learn more. How does the sun make wind, or make rivers run, or make Rudy and Rosie fly? Eagerly asked Kate. Liz smiled at Kate, happy to share her wealth of knowledge with one interested in learning. You see, mon ami, as the sun heats the earth, it does not happen, how do you say, evenly. Certain areas of the earth heat up faster than other areas, causing differences in air pressure. There must be balance in all things, so the high pressure moves to become balanced with the low pressure, and voila! Wind is born, explained Liz as she walked to see if Kate understood her, or looked to see if Kate understood her. Kate furrowed her brow as she tried to understand Liz. She looked up at the sun, now getting brighter as it rose higher in the sky. So you're telling me that the sun makes wind? Oui, isn't it fascinating? And to answer your other question, it also makes water move. The sun warms the seas and rivers, causing some of the water to evaporate. Turn into a mist that leaves the water and rises into the air. When much of the water gathers in the air, clouds form. You see, the puffy clouds over there came from the rivers below. Liz said as she directed Kate to the skies. But how does that make water move? Asked Kate, not fully getting it. Let me help you figure this out, mon ami. What happens when many clouds come together and become very thick and dark? Asked Liz. Well, it usually rains, Kate replied. Exactly, rain. The clouds first have small amounts of water in them, but those small amounts turn into greater amounts. When the clouds get too heavy, the water falls back down to earth as rain. Tell me what happens when rain falls on the ground, Liz continued. Oh, in Scotland, the rain sometimes falls lightly and sometimes drops in buckets. When it falls fast, we call it a real gully washer. It makes streams of water run fast and, oh, I see what you mean, said Kate as she suddenly understood how the sun ultimately caused the water to flow. Très bien, Kate. You understand how this works now? Asked Liz, delighted at how quickly her pupil learned. Lightning is energy too, Max. Oh, wait. Sorry, I missed a paragraph. What about lightning then, lass? Asked Max, who had walked ahead to listen to their conversation, obviously interested in what Liz was explaining. Lightning is energy too, Max. It happens when electrical energy builds up in the clouds as charges begin separating. When the separation gets large enough, a large amount of energy causes a spark that reaches from the cloud to the ground. It is very exciting, no? The energy becomes heat, light, and also sound, explained Liz. Sound? Asked Max. Oui, thunder. You've heard it, no? C'est magnifique, asked Liz. Aye, thunder, said Max in an almost loathsome tone. I've heard it, lass, said Max, as he walked back to where Al dragged his feet at the end of the line. Max nudged Al along, encouraging him to pick up the pace. Max had heard enough for now. Kate and Liz continued their discussion. But what about us? What about Rudy and Rosie's energy, and our energy to be walking here now? Where does that come from? asked Kate. Why do you suppose I told everyone to go eat a good breakfast today? Asked Liz, glancing back at Al, who was clearly heavy on his feet from all he ate. Well, food also makes me feel grand, like I have energy for the day ahead, said Kate, stopping short as she realized that food was energy. It was obvious, of course, but in light of their conversation, it took a whole new perspective. Correct, Kate. And where do you suppose food gets its energy? Asked Liz, wanting Kate to really think about things, to figure them out. You're sure stretching me mind, Liz. I would say that the berries I ate this morning got their energy from the Maker's good earth. And from the sun? Asked Kate, unsure of herself. Brilliant! Whee! The plants get their energy from the nutrients in the soil, but they store energy within from the sun. Do you remember how my beautiful sunflowers faced toward the light? If you watch them, they follow the sun's direction all day. It is quite wonderful to watch them soak up the sunshine, no? Sunflowers are the most visible followers of the sun, but all plants do the same. So, as you ate the berries today, I see I got the energy from the plants, and that came from the sun, said Kate, grinning as she understood the process. C'est bon, Kate, very good. You are an excellent student, mon ami, answered Liz affirmingly. So, Rudy and Rosie get their energy from the nectar they drink, and the Maker has equipped their bodies to use that energy to help them fly quickly. You see, there is an explanation for the way things work. Kate pondered these things for a moment as they walked on. But how do Rudy and Rosie fly so far across the great sea when they would use up the energy they ate in South America? Asked Kate, suddenly finding a wrinkle in the equation. Liz furrowed her brow and didn't respond immediately. She looked up at the two hummingbirds. That very question had bothered her since she met them in the garden. It really was impossible that they were able to make it that far. She needed an explanation. Rudy and Rosie, please come here, Liz called to the hummingbirds. The two birds flew down to hover above Liz and Kate. Tell me, did you make any stops along the way across the great sea? Were you able to find food on your journey? Asked Liz. Si, senorita. When we left our home, we were able to eat as we flew across South America. But as we left Brazil, we were over open water for a very long time. When we thought we couldn't make it any further, we came across an island about 700 miles northeast of Brazil, right on the equator. We stopped and rested while we enjoyed the delicious hibiscus flowers there, Rudy answered. But there was still a large space of ocean to cross. Did you stop anywhere else? Asked Liz. See, the next stop was twice as far. I still don't know how we made it to the islands of Fogo, as the local insects called it, replied Rudy. I thought my wings would fall off, but we made it just in time, senorita, piped in Rosie, smiling brightly at Kate. Liz thought for a moment. 700 miles was a stretch to begin with for the first stop, but another 1,300 miles for two little hummingbirds to fly was just not possible. She became frustrated as she searched for an answer. Were there wind currents that gave you thermal lift on your flight? She asked the birds. See, there were winds that came up to lift us up, replied Rudy before Liz interrupted him. So you see, the winds provided the lift you needed to carry you to the next island and to other islands along the coast of Africa until you reached Spain and then France. I knew there must be an explanation. There always is, said Liz, feeling confident that she had the explanation she needed. Well, the winds did come up under our wings to help carry us, that is true, but the mystery of it is where the winds came from. For you see, at the point of our greatest exhaustion, where we didn't see how we could fly another mile, we were in the doldrums. There is no wind in the doldrums. The water below was still and breathless, yet a mighty wind carried us still, explained Rudy. We're just grateful we made it at all. I think it's wonderful how you made it. What an exciting adventure it must have been. The Maker were definitely watching out for ye and giving ye what ye needed at just the right time, said Kate, wagging her tail. Liz stumped. While Kate easily accepted things in faith, Liz hated not knowing why things happened. Wind in the doldrums? It wasn't possible. From a place dead to wind came the sustaining winds the little hummingbirds needed, and at just the right time. She remained quiet as she kept walking, her brow wrinkled in thought. Liz, there must be a grand amount of energy in the fire cloud. I never seen fire in a cloud before. Do ye suppose it's the Maker himself who travels along inside the cloud, giving it the energy to make fire? Kate asked. Liz looked up at the fire cloud. It was true, she had seen lightning in clouds, but never fire. Could it be? Could the Maker inhabit the fire cloud? If he made the sun, the source of almost all the earth's energy, she deduced, then he could surely be in the fire cloud itself. Liz then glanced at the sun, squinting her eyes as she tried to look at it. The sun was made of fire as well. Using her logical train of thought, she then realized something profound. The Maker was the source of all energy and the light and of life itself. If he made all life, couldn't he sustain it however he chose? Even bring wind where there was no wind to help two little hummingbirds cross the ocean? Liz watched Rudy and Rosie fly effortlessly up above. But why would a creator so vast and powerful be concerned with the needs of such small creatures? It didn't make logical sense. Liz had to ponder this for a while. Kate, you may be right. You may just be right, Liz replied. And that's the end. So there was a lot to learn in that one. Liz was teaching a bunch of lessons about energy and about sun and about God himself and how he is the creator of all energy on earth, and all of us. So hopefully you guys can reflect on that. Until the next time, we'll be on chapter 24, Running with the Bull. And this is going to be a good chapter. Love you guys. Bye.